Welcome back, players. I'm Jacko36Cancel, and this is Coco the Weiss Cat, and today I have 5 reasons that you're going to want to stick around to check out the newest English Weiss Schwarz set. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in order of quality with 1 being the highest, of course. But unfortunately, my personal preferences in the Quintessential Quintuplets aren't a very good barometer for just who gets the nuts in their second expansion. That's something you're going to have to decide for yourself once we've gone through and taken a good look at just why people are so excited for QQ2 Waifu Boogaloo. If you recall, some time ago Quintessential Quintuplets 1 came out with 5 unique trial decks for each of the sisters, and if there was ever a waifu-focused Weiss Schwarz set, this is it. Many of the cards worked specifically with ones of the same name, like Ichiga or Itsuki or Yotsuba, making waifu decks very easy and obvious, and there were a lot of cards for each sister since all the sisters appeared in 2 colors each. However, while the set had some cool mechanics and a lot of love, it wasn't exactly a meta-breaking or super busted set. Well, much is the same with QQ2, all except that last part about the set not really holding up to the titans of the game, because if Japan tells us anything, it's that there are going to be 5 new faces among the giants we all know and hate to play against. Quints 2 represents a massive surge in quintuplet power, no matter who your Quinfu is. What's more, the set is backwards compatible with Quints 1 to the point where new cards directly support the climax combos and tech cards that stood out as diamonds in the rough from set 1. I love this design choice, but to get right to it, let's get into the trusty set breakdown graphic. Now, being that this is a sequel set, I'm going to mark the mechanics that both sets offer as a whole, especially since there's a reprint of set 1 in the works, but we'll mostly talk about what set 2 offers. Of course, we can't start anywhere except that Quints is one of the most, if not the most, waifu-focused titles in all Weiss Schwarz. It's all about picking your favorite girl and making a deck with cards that specifically rely on you having cards with her name in them, of which there are many amazing options in Quints. In fact, the waifu factor is so strong in the design that in some waifu tournaments, including the one I'm playing in right now on the Discord server for Casually Weiss Schwarz, who you should subscribe to by the way, Quints is banned for just being too strong when built as a waifu deck. Ironically, Quints has also been hit by the ban hammer in Japan when they rebalanced the meta to make sure the set didn't totally run away with all the tournaments, and the reason for that is the second thing we'll point out on this graphic, standby. Quints 2 has an incredible standby package. It has 2 new standby climax combos at level 2 and at level 3, letting you put out some seriously big damage to finish the game and put some massive bodies on the board. But there are plenty of other ways Quints has for you to kill your opponents, like restanders or the trusty cancel burn. Now, we don't see Quints being a meta hate set, so there's no anti-heal or anti-salvage or the like. There is a rather okay anti-soul event at level 1 and a weird free fresh in set 2, but other than that, the set is really focused on delivering the bread and butter of things we really want to see out of any strong Weiss Schwarz set, like on-attack advantage, good early plays, and lots of hand and deck filtering. So moving on to the collector's graphic, we also see that Quints 2 delivers a lot of cool variations of shiny and rare cards. But don't get thrown for a loop, because if you don't know that Quints 2 doesn't actually have regular SPs, you might be shocked when you open your boxes. That's right, it has overframe climaxes, overframe characters, SSPs, and HYRs or Hyanome rares, which are the special Quints gold bordered shiny cards, but no actual regular old SPs. But there are plenty of parallel foils and swagged out options for anyone who really wants to show their favorite quintuplet the strength of their wallet. Love. Hey, same thing, right? Anyway, all this out of the way, it's time to showcase some cards. And this is where I'd usually start at 0 and go up to 3, but being that this is Quints, I'm going to instead go quint by quint and show you what's new for every girl, so you can just skip the ones that you aren't putting in your waifu deck no matter how good they are. To kick things off, we'll start with my personal favorite, Ichiga. At level 0, Ichiga was given a top-checking Riki that searches your deck for a level 1 or lower character. She also gets a 2k runner that, on death, lets you top-check 3 of your cards with Ichiga in the name. And at 0, she also gets a Brainstormer that's a Rest 2 Flip 5 that only searches Ichigas. You can also put her in the waiting room for 1 stock and top check 4 for any Quints character. So lots of new waifu stuff for Ichiga at 0, and also a pretty deck agnostic Riki. Ichiga does get a new level 1 combo. Ichiga Nakano, Awkward Love, is base 4500 and gets plus 1500 when she's played. On climax play, she gets the following 2 abilities. First, pay 1 Twin Drive, and second, at the end of this card's attack, reveal the top card and salvage an X or lower character, where X is that card's level. It's pretty okay, but the real interesting things for Ichiga, IMO, are at level 3. She has a new climax combo of 3 Ichiga Nakano in a uniform. If the Ichiga runner top checker is in your clock, she has early play, and on attack with her combo, you search 2 Quints characters, put any number of them in your hand or stock, and she gets plus 3k for the turn. Also, outside of the combo, when the character opposite her attacks, you can pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put any number of them in the waiting room or back on top in any order. Bro, it's like stacking your deck or something. I can definitely see this being pretty annoying to deal with, and a cool way to build an Ichika deck considering how you don't even have to play the combo. Another combo-free awesome level 3 Ichika, and the one you might see coming up in topping lists, is Ichika Nakano overflowing with confidence and negligence. 3-2, and she's a 2k front assist that heals on play. Also, up to 3 times per turn, when your character is placed on the stage from the waiting room, you can choose a character and give them +1 soul. I'm sure you can all see what this is for. I was under the impression that the big trade-off for standby was sacrificing soul damage. Well, apparently not. But this about wraps up Ichika's new set of toys, so let's move on to something completely different, Yotsuba. Yotsuba also gets some brand new waifu-focused tech at 0. Pure Wish Yotsuba gives all your level 0 characters in front 1k on your turn, and you can pay 1 and send her to the waiting room to top check 3 for a Quints character, and then if you have another Quints character, choose a card called Yotsuba Nakano, something she yearns for, and put it into your memory. Now this is your new level 3 Yotsuba combo, so we'll come back to that. She also gets a pretty lit drop searcher, a pretty awesome drop salvager? Well, actually both, on one card. 2k, and on play you can pick one, both, or neither, where you pay 1, ditch 1, search 1, and pay 1, ditch 1, salvage. So that's a thing you could totally run as an amazing 1 of in any deck, or a stupid good 4 of in a Yotsuba deck. Finally, she gets a level 0 that you can pay 1 and encore it on your opponent's turn, and send it to memory on your next encore phase, that also gives some power on attack, just like the Shizu from Slime. At level 1, Yotsuba gets some interesting stuff, like a counter refresh that you can pay an extra 1 stock to reshuffle if you have 5 characters with Yotsuba in their name. And of course, a fresh new level 1 combo. Yotsuba Nakano, something she can do, sits at 4500 or 5500 if all your characters have Yotsuba in the name, and on attack with her combo, you pick one of 2 abilities. Either first, you can blind stock, or second, you can return her to your hand when she's front attacked. So no, she's not quite the Aaron combo, but she's certainly an option. But to go right to the most interesting parts of the new stuff, I want to show you Yotsuba's new level 3. Yotsuba Nakano, something she yearns for, with her climax combo lets you pay 2 and pitch a card at the end of her attack. If you do, your opponent puts the bottom 5 cards of their deck into their waiting room, and you burn X where X is climaxes, and then she gets +1k across turns. Now this sounds a bit expensive to do 3 times, but her second ability, also a climax combo, is that when you play her climax and you're level 3, you can take her from your memory and put her on the stage. Remember when we put her there with this White Wish Yotsuba? Yeah, this is why, and White Wish Yotsuba isn't the only card that puts her in your memory, so you can set this up pretty reliably in your Yotsuba deck. It's a really cool combo and potentially very deadly. So if you combine this new Yotsuba stuff with the already pretty strong card she had in set 1, this makes for a really awesome new deck. But we have a lot to cover here, so I'm going to move right along to the next Quint in the agenda, and that's Miku. Now Miku had some pretty strong combos in set 1, and a cool event called Headphone, and her set 2 stuff definitely builds on this very well. First, Miku gets a new tap self-search Brainstormer that also has Alarm to give one of your characters on reverse bottom deck. She also gets a new level 1 combo that gets +1500 on attack for each Headphone event in your waiting room, and a level 0 that you can put into your stock when you play an event. There's a totally new version of Headphone where you top jack 5 4 card with Miku in the name, and even a level 3 Miku that lets you refresh by discarding a Headphone in addition to bouncing an opponent's character. Also at level 3, Miku was given a 9k healing 4 or more early play that gets +2k on your turn. Her new finisher is Miku Nakano, the Confession of Love, and when you play it, you get to search her salvage for a Headphone or her new Secret Confession event. Her combo is that when her damage is cancelled, you can stand her if you have 4 more characters for free. Which, hey, that's literally a free restand. The other Miku event we mentioned is a 2-1 with 4 modes, an actual Miku cryptic command. You can either 1. Put the finisher Miku on the stage and then send it to the waiting room at the end of the turn, 2. Heal, 3. Kill a character on your opponent's stage whose level is higher than theirs, or 4. Give one of your characters +3500 but also stop it from moving until your next turn. Now it may seem like we ran through these a bit fast for Miku, but to be frank, I think she's the Quint that got the least amount of love in this expansion. This could definitely be because what she had was already very solid in set 1, and she didn't need a ton of help, but either way, it's time to move on to a girl that got a lot of new tools, and that's Itsuki. Despite being low in most of the polls, Itsuki got some major upgrades in Quints 2. To begin, she gets a double rare Zero that gets 2 very strong abilities. Gentle and Sincere Itsuki Nakano can run to an open position of your stage if a character is facing her at the start of your opponent's attack phase, and if you have 5 or more characters, acts as a 0/0 2k backup, the first of its kind in English. I mean seriously guys, this is a runner 0 that also acts as your 2k backup. Just how much else do you want your level 0 game to do? Well, Itsuki also has another 0 that lets you clock a card from your hand to top check X where X is the number of your other Quint characters, and she also runs to stock when your opponent plays a climax. Finally, she gets a new Brainstormer that, like her old one, only works with gate climaxes, but it's a tap self-search that gives all characters in front of it +500 if you have 5 more cards in hand, and also increases your max hand size by 1. So if you have 2 of these out, you can hold 9 cards because that's funny. At level 1, Itsuki gets a 4500 combo that gets plus 1500 when you use an act ability. With her climax, if you ditch a card, you get to top check 3 and add any number of Quints characters or an event called Codename, so potentially a free +2 every attack. On the tech side, Itsuki also gets a 1/1 that memory kicks early plays on reverse, and that also lets you sacrifice it and either exchange the position of 2 of your opponent's characters or move one to an open position of their stage, but only if you're level 3. Still extremely threatening on all fronts. And speaking of threatening, Itsuki's new finisher is going to make you sweat some bullets. On play, draw 2 and pitch 1, and on attack, with her combo, you can pitch 3 characters. If you do, burn 1, and then burn 4. And of course, then you get to actually attack. And wow, that's a lot of damage. I can't decide whether it will be harder to get a line of these 3 to actually pay for and go off, or harder to survive on the receiving end of such a violent onslaught of damage. So yeah, plenty of new tools in the tank for Itsuki. But we have to move on because the last quintuplet on the list has some major stuff. And yeah, sorry to have to make you wait, because I know everyone's looking for the info on the new Nino stuff. Seriously, this set may as well have been called the Quintessential Nino set, because your Nino deck is about to get a major overhaul. In set 1, Nino had combos on standby and on pants, and it's like that in set 2 as well. In fact, there's a level 3 blue Nino that gives your old restanding Nino combo Cancel Burn X, where X is the cancelled damage, with the same climax combo. She also lets you pull that same old Nino from the waiting room for 1 stock when you play her. But that's not the package everyone's talking about. The new Nino hotness is all about standby, so let's start at the bottom and work our way to the big one. At 0, Nino has 2 new tech cards. First we have Daily Routine Nino Nakano, which on play lets you pitch a card with Nino in the name and draw a card. You can also pitch any card to reveal the top of your deck, and salvage an X or lower character where X is the revealed card's level. So it's Nino Ironwood. Second, there's Words Nino Nakano, where on play you can reshuffle 2 characters to your deck to give a character +1 soul. Then when you play a climax, you can return her to your hand and give another character +1k power, and the ability that on attack you can top check 2 and put 1 in your waiting room and 1 on top of your deck. This is a super strong card for standby decks since it gives your characters more soul, lets you top check for triggers, and also gives you a bit of deck fixing. Now unlike the other Quints that got new level 1 combos, Nino's new mid-game combo is actually on a level 2. Wholehearted Maiden Nino Nakano is 7k, and as long as you have all Quints characters, has Hand Encore and +5k during your turn, making her a menacing 12k on attack. Her climax combo is that when she's placed onto the stage by her combo, you can put the climax in the waiting room from your zone and stand her, and she gets +1k across turns. So it's a free 2/2 to swing with the moment you hit level 1 that also has Hand Encore and punches your opponent in the face for 13k power. That's pretty neat, and by pretty neat I mean absolutely disgusting. Have fun dealing with that. It's going to be even more fun to deal with when it's paired with Nino's new center stage 3/2, someone who will fall for you, Nino Nakano. If she's in your center stage, all your characters get +1500 power, and when you play a standby climax, you can top check 2 and put them back in any order, and give a character on attack top check 2, put 1 back, and put 1 in the waiting room. More power, more trigger checking, more disgusting Nino cards. But then there's the mother of them all, the one you're going to love to hate as much as Nino loves to hate you. Nino Nakano, Love Taking Off, is 8500 and on your turn gets +4k if you're playing the game. She also heals on play. Her climax combo is straightforward feelings and she has 2 effects with it. First, if that climax is in your climax zone at any point of the game, she has the standby trigger in any zone, meaning that if you trigger her on attack, you get a standby. 12 standby is a cool deck, but her actual finishing combo is that at the end of her attack, you can pay 1 and pitch 1. If you do, burn 3. It's cheap, it's brutal, and it's where we're going to wrap up this set showcase. Now, like many of our set showcases, this one doesn't cover every good card in the expansion we're talking about. There are many great cards that can go in your waifu deck of choice that we didn't cover here. So if this isn't enough Quints for you, I'd really suggest checking out the link in the description to peruse the card list for Quints 2 on the Weiss Schwarz official site. Though after seeing all the stuff we have, it's hard to imagine being unsatisfied, no matter which quintuplet happens to be your favorite. I'd wager that pretty much each one can hold their weight against the litany of strong decks out there now, and each were given amazing tools to deal with all the problems you'll face. In fact, the biggest struggle that you'll probably encounter is deciding which cards make the cut for your new waifu deck and which had to be put aside. I know I will, so look forward to more on that coming soon, and I'll leave all of you folks at home to brew those waifu decks. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.